the big X method, a factoring shortcut. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to talk about a shortcut to the factoring. So last time we talked about how to factor this like the proper way, the long way, which is you multiply the first term and last term, AC, and you get 10x squared. Then you look at all the factors of 10x squared, and you go like, okay, what two things multiply to get 10? X squared, that add to get 11. So you have like 1x and 10x, 2x and 5x. Those are the only things really. And then when you add them, you want the one that when you add them up, that equals the middle term. So in this case, it'll be this guy. 1x plus 10x equals 11x. So we're going to substitute these two in for the middle. And we get 2x squared plus 1x plus 10x plus 5. All right, let me rewrite that a little bit to really show it. So 1x plus 10x plus 5. Right, so we have that, and then we factor by grouping. Once we have that, we just factor these two. Don't forget to bring down the middle sign, so plus here. These first two have an x in common. So you get 2x plus 1. These second two, they can both be divided by 5. So put a 5 on the outside, and you get 2x plus 1. And then you go, these match. So pull them out, you get 2x plus 1 times x plus 5. Right? And that's how we learn how to factor with the number. That's how we learn to factor trinomials, right? We multiply the first and last term, get this, it equals that, and then you substitute it in. Now what we're going to learn today is a big X method, which is just a shortcut to doing that. Because it works, it's great. Hopefully it's pretty straightforward, but it does take a little bit of time. So here's what the big X method is. It's kind of the same, like the big crust of this, like the hardest part of this, of like factoring for most people is this part right here. That doesn't change. That stays the same. It just kind of skips over this part. We go from here to like our answer. So we kind of skip this middle portion here. So the big X method is you make a big O X. And on top we're going to do AC. And on the bottom we're going to do the middle term B. So right in this case we have it's AX squared plus BX plus C is the standard. So AC goes on top. B, the middle term, goes on the bottom here. So we fill this out like normal. Like, hey, how do you get AC? Well, we multiply these two together. 2 times 5 is 10. And the middle term down here is 11. Now, again, like I said, this part doesn't change. You get AC, you go, okay, what are two things that multiply to get 10 but add to get 11? Like, all this is still the same. Nothing's changed so far. So you go like 10, it's 1 and 10 and 2 and 5. And again, 1, 10 works. So I'm going to put 1 here, 10 here. Now, what happens with the big X here is that these terms right here, we have to divide them by our A. Let's get used to it by doing it. So we're going to divide these by A. So in this case, that is 2 and 2. Now, you want to reduce if you can. 1 over 2 does not reduce. 10 over 2 does reduce to a 5. I'll put 5 over 1. You always want to keep it a fraction. So we have that, right? So we multiply the first and last, put the middle term in the middle. We go at the top term here, and we go, okay, what are two things that multiply to get 10 but add to get 11? It's 1 and 10 again. I put them on the sides here. One different thing, right, is you put them over A. So you put over A. And then reduce if you can. And now, this is our answer. We're going to go bottoms up, bottom over top, bottoms first. However you want to say it. We're going to go to the bottoms first. So we're going to put this as 2x plus 1. And we'll put this one as 1x plus 5. Or if you want to write it without the 1, you can. You get 2x plus 1 times x plus 5. And look, we get the exact same. So that's the big X method. We're going to do a couple more times of practice. And it might look like that. This is about the same. I had to explain every single step. But once you get used to it, this actually is faster. I don't care which way you do it. I kind of tend to do a hybrid most of the time. So this is this next one, right? So we're going to try this big X method only. So this is big X. Remember, you have to always divide by A. Like if I was going to write the basic formula, it's like this, right? AC, B, over A, over A. It's kind of the big X method. So here, we have a 1. We have negative 8. So I get negative 8 on top and negative 2 on the bottom, right? AC goes on top, B goes on the bottom. Keep in mind the signs are important. Negative 8, negative 2. So we look at our negative 8 and we go, okay, what are all the things that multiply to get negative 8? Now it is a negative, so we need a positive and a negative. And you could do the opposite way also. right? And then you want to go, which one of these, when I add them, do I get -2? And that would be the bottom one here. When I add -4 plus 2, that plus is very bad. There we go. -4 plus 2, it gets me -2. So I'm gonna put these two on the sides here. So -4 over 2. And then we always want to put it over a, always. So let's put over 1, because our a here is 1. Then we just rewrite it. And we go, okay, that's going to be, remember, bottom's first. So this goes, the bottom goes first. So 1x minus 4. This one will be 1x plus 2. And as always, you can write it without the 1 if you want. Either way is fine. But see how that was a lot faster? Again, you can do this way, you can do the other way, whichever way is more comfortable for you. But I'm just showing you this is kind of a shortcut. Use the same principles, just kind of skip that middle step. So let's do this one last one here for today. When it's the big X method, so again, I'll write the formulas real quickly for you guys. AB over A over A, right? So when I do this, I'm going to multiply the first and last. In this case, we get something bigger. I get 90. 6 times 15, 6 times 10 is 60, 6 times 5, yeah, 90. And then, I did multiply gets 90, right? You go 190, you go 245. We're going to go 5 and, what's that, 114? 5 and 14. I could go 6 and 15, that we just multiplied. Go 10 and 9. I might be missing some more, like 30 and 3. But I think I've done enough. I think I see the one that's going to work. Now, one thing to keep in mind here, this is a positive 90. So remember, anytime it's positive, it's going to be the same sign. So it's either going to be plus and plus or minus and minus. Either way, it's the same sign. How do you know what sign it is? You look at the middle term. The middle term here is negative, so these should all be negative. Where's my big X? I never wrote it. 90, -19. Forgot to write the big X. Right, so 90, right? AC goes on top, -19, the middle P term goes on bottom, -19. So we have that. Now the one that works, when I add these two, I get -19. That would be these two right here, -5 and 14. Those two get me -19 when I add, so I'm putting them on the side here. -5 and -14. Don't forget, always put over A and reduce if you can. So over 6 over 6. -5 over 6 can reduce, but -14 over 6 does reduce. That gets me -7 over 3. So divide them both by 2. And then we have our answers. We have, remember, bottom goes on in front, 6x minus 5. And then that gets me 3x minus 7. And that's how we factor using big X, this little shortcut.